you ghost good guys?
Sometimes, like, the good guys, they're weird. Some good...
Wrong. The reason you ghost said good guys are because they are making it known to you of what they want. However, you want the same thing, just not from them. Stop pushing the narrative that you want good guys and take notes. You modern women want future, with Russell Wilson qualities. The truth is you're looking for external validation because you don't like what your homegirls think if you're with an average-looking male. As the Godfather Kevin Samuels said, single women keep women single. Stop looking for external validation or buy a dog and die alone.
Oh, I just broke up with one.
Why's that?
Because they're too needy.
What was he doing?
Asking to hang out.
Imagine trying to ask your girl to hang out.
Pass.
Disgusting.
Hard pass.
Why's that?
Because I don't got time to babysit a man's feelings.
I'm not really like attracted to them.
Why not?
I don't know, like when they give me too much attention, I'm like...
Hit that like button. Go ahead, do it now before I reach out into that screen and twist your hand like Aunt Esther. Hit the like button. Thank you.
Destroy.
I got an itch in my palm. My girl, she know she the one. I put the ice on her hand. I put some ice on her arm. See me shining in the light. Know you found me in the dark. Talking how you wanna leave. Girl, you made this far. Taking trips overseas. No, I won't be long. We came up from the weeds. Now it's top floor. All these big gets on her wrist. VVS is on her neck. Make it spin and I don't stress. When I make it stretch. Double back to back then. Down broke, now we rich. Spend it on her, let her spin. Down with me to the end. That my best friend. That my best friend. That my best friend. I'ma spend it on her, cause she all mine. Spend it on a challenge, cause she all mine. There for my first cake, then we hit 100K. $500,000 on the way, then $1 million on the way. Eating good full plates, eating good say grace. Eat her up, get thanks, she got cake birthday. I can't waste no way, I can't waste no play. My girl, whoa, whoa, something like the baddest chick. My girl, whoa, whoa, came up from the rags to rich. Hit the road running, I had to tell her I had to get it. She understood, but she spoiled, so when she get mad, she dip. All these big gets on her wrist, VVS is on her neck. Make it spin and I don't stress. When I make it stretch. Double back to back then. Down broke, now we rich. Spend it on her, let her spin. Down with me to the end. That my best friend. That my best friend. That my best friend. I'ma spend it on her, cause she all mine. Spend it on a challenge, cause she all mine. All these big gets on her wrist, VVS is on her neck. Make it spin and I don't stress. When I make it stretch. Double back to back then. Down broke, now we rich. Spend it on her, let her spin. Down with me to the end. That my best friend. That my best friend. That my best friend. I'ma spend it on her, cause she all mine. All these big gets on her wrist, VVS is on her neck. Make it spin and I don't stress. Spend it on a challenge, cause she all mine. That my best friend. That my best friend. That my best friend.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to admit, but it's understandable why they would choose to go their own way. And that's what's scary, is there's actually a rational reason why they would do that.
Men going their own way. And you can think what you want about it, but this is a really big problem for women, for us, for our future, for families, for you to find a partner. If a population of good men are walking away because they're fed up with women,
if you're being told all your life that you are bad and wrong just for being a man, and that you have toxic masculinity for being a man, and that, you know, women, there's this famous expression that, you know, a woman needs a man just like a fish needs a bicycle. And that men are basically useless. And that men are terrible, and that, you know, women are superior.
In our society, it's very callous towards men. The only message most men hear in the world is that they're a bumbling buffoon. The TV shows are full of idiot men. Commercials show men as buffoons. The society is against them. All they hear about is what idiots men are.
It's the mass of women that are taking over the culture and representing women. They're loud. They're mean. They say they want equality. Why are they not protesting in the streets for the changing the laws for alimony or child support or child custody? Because they don't want equality. They want superiority.
The male gender has more of a slave state, and it's because men are now subjugated to the law and to women, and nobody really believes it except the men who go through, say, the court. But most men think that they're exempt from that until they end up in a bad situation.
So for a lot of the men, and a lot of them have gotten screwed over in terrible relationships and divorces, and gotten their kids taken away from them. So it's an understandable response.
In the United States of America, as a man, you can't speak up. I think most women tend to be very, I'm stereotyping, but they tend to be more collectivist. They tend to sort of be more in that socialist mindset. So I don't know that you're going to see a huge change. I think the change will have to come from men.
The lives of women will not change until the men get the opportunity to also examine and define and change their lives. In many ways, I sometimes think that the 20th century was the century where the women made all these massive changes, and the 21st century will be the changes that the men will make, partly in adapting to the changes that the women have done.
And those men are doing something about it. They're saying, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm not getting married, or I'm divorced. They don't sit around just trying to live their life through women. They actually have lots of hobbies. They go out, they buy that land you were talking about. They're out there getting motorcycles. They're having a good time, and they're enjoying life without having to deal with the stress of the women and the society that tells them they have to have a woman in their life.
How would you feel? I mean, you know, you're not going to feel that attracted to a woman or care to be loving towards her or romantic towards her. So this men going their own way is a reaction to that. I really think it's a rational reaction to that. Men are finally like, hey, we've given you all you want. You know, you are equal in every way, and then you're still shaming us.
Pain. I've been there, locked up inside my head, broken from fear, illusions, disappointment, and hopelessness. Who heard me in my silence, where being a man means nothing? despair. I've been there too. Desperately seeking answers for the questions associated with manhood. Hills and valleys, too bleak to compare. Stress. Suffering in a utility silo. No comfort, no security. No freedom, no justice. Just do it for others. Challenges. Who will help me break the challenges? Lost in the vortex of darkness, hopelessness, fear, and abandonment. I've been there too. I've been there too. Take the next step to your destiny. Join me in this fight. Walk forward. Deep breaths. Head held high, men. Come join me, men, in the winds of time. Stories, hopes, visions, purified in the fire. I'm not a superhero. And I'm not the Reverend Knight. I'm here to help you. Join me, men, in this fight. Break the chains of your mind. Let's do it now. For now is all we have. Fire! The kosher clinician.
All right. We're going to chop it up tonight, guys. Esteemed brethren and sisters, we're going to have a powerful show on tonight. And this show, guys, is going to more or less commemorate that many times when men get married, they feel that marriage is a dream stealer, and many men feel that marriages many times sabotage them and take away the joy they had in their 20s. The evidence, guys, is overwhelming about getting married here in the West. You know, Tom Brady was a football player, or is a football player. And, Giselle, or Gazelle, however you pronounce her name, also knew and understood that he was a football player coming in. And we're going to more or less give a more or less dichotomous outlook on how and why that the psyche of a man many times is hampered, many times when he get married in the West, because not only do your testosterone levels drop when you get married, but many times your stress levels become higher. And because of that, many men are beginning to ask themselves the question, why would I give my best to modern women? You know, so many men say, well, if you got money, she's going to rest in her femininity, but that's a fallacy. You would think that she was a modern woman, and the man had money, that she'll rest in her femininity, but that's a fallacy in the myth, to say the least. You can have all the money that you want, but however, hypergamy can be many times not only a base mindset, but can be very carnal. And I'm going to do a show, guys, at some point talking about carnal hypergamy versus kosher hypergamy. Carnal hypergamy, guys, is more or less exploitative. It seeks to use a man and to abuse a man and to steal his resources without giving him anything in return. Carnal hypergamy more or less is a means to an end. But kosher hypergamy is fit and proper based on the tenets of what kosher means. It basically means that woman's going to do everything within her power to honor and respect her man. But on the back end, she does want to be taken care of. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't have a problem with a woman being hypergamous to the sense that she wants a man to take care of her, but also she honor and respect that man because she's conditioned to put her feelings aside. But see, guys, we had a show on last night talking about irreconcilable. And you guys are beginning to see it more than less, how some of these women are just throwing their relationships away. And that's why I get so angry, when I hear folks say, get married, get married, save the community. And I think these people, they mean well, and I'm not here to castigate aspersions to no one. I promise you I'm not, because some of them their hearts are right. But as I told you guys, until she's ready to go march and tell them to change the laws on Capitol Hill, to tell the legislators to change the law, then she really don't have no skin in the game. Because see, marriages are not only destroying the careers and the lives of men, but many marriages are destroying the dreams of men, because many men feel that once they got married, their dreams went by the bedside. He began to live his life to please her instead of living his life to more or less manifest his purpose. And many times, guys, when you get married, your purpose is more or less minimized, and your purpose has not been more or less captivated to the point where she's helping you live out your purpose and your dictates. So we're going to look at this thing from a dichotomous perspective. But before we do it, guys, we're going to cook a duck on the night. We're going to cook a duck. You know, Daffy Duck going to get mad at me tonight. But before we do it, guys, we are going to cook a duck, or I call it pluck a duck. That's my new terminology, because I am the kosher clinician. You know, I am kosher. And we're going to pluck a duck. And we're going to make Daffy Duck mad on the night, because many of these modern women are ducks. You know, they're ducks. You know, they... yeah, these modern women are ducks, man, you know. They're not swans. They're not swans, guys. They're ducks. We know men are looking for they're looking for swans. They're not looking for ducks. You know, ducks are not as elegant as a swan. A swan is very elegant. She's very feminine. But on the night, guys, we are going to pluck a duck, because, you know, Daffy Duck ain't going to like what we're going to talk about tonight. Y'all already know what time. It's that time. What's up, duck? You already know.
You're despicable.
That's all, folks.
And they get mad, guys, when you pluck a duck. They don't like it when masculine men and women that got some common sense pluck a duck, because ducks don't have that je ne sais quoi like a swan. And so we're going to have a good show on tonight, because, you know, the duck's going to get mad. You know, we talked about the hyenas, you know, but, you know, I am kosher and I like to create my own terms. And so the new term is anytime we get ready to pulverize bad behavior, we say we're going to pluck a duck. So when you see a modern woman that does not respect and honor men, say to yourself, it's time to pluck a duck. It's time to pluck a duck, because, see, we're looking for swans, not ducks, you know, because ducks don't have that je ne sais quoi like a swan. And see, I do these shows, guys, trying to infuse clinical concepts with more or less urban trends and urban topics to get you guys to understand as men how and why you need to change the laws in your mind. Shout out to Mr. Palmer, and more or less use mental kung fu to more or less deal with some of the ravages of modern women. Because, see, when you don't do that, guys, you're at risk of having your dreams destroyed. Many women, guys, when they get married, they don't get married for the sake of assuaging you and respecting you as a man. But they get married, guys, to control you. They get married because they want to more or less you to more or less bid their bidding. They don't want to honor and respect you as a man, but they want you to fall in line and more or less to fall in place. And that's why I told you guys the whole concept of love is a very negative thing. Love by default and the concept of love is dangerous. It's very dangerous. Because, see, when you fall in love, and that word fall is synonymous, you're no longer in control of your emotions. And when men are overly emotional, it's very dangerous. I'm not saying a man cannot be emotional, but men should never be overly emotional, because now his mission is at risk, his purpose is at risk, and also his future is at risk, because he's allowing his feelings to supersede his logic and reason. And as Bishop Charles E. Williams said, y'all ain't gonna talk to me. Let me look at some of these comments real quick, guys. Let me look through some of it. Oh yeah, man, I'm gonna pluck a duck. But let me read through some of these comments. Shout out to my man Nice. Nice said that I think Gail is stalking me. I'm a victim. Everywhere she goes, she get a blue ID. Stop following me. I'm looking for a feminist modern woman. No doubt, you being funny. Shout out to my man Nice for the $4.99 super sticker. And then also shout out to Tim Howard for that $5 super sticker. Thank you, Tim Howard, as well, brother. I really appreciate you, a kind brother. Thank you, Tim Howard. But we're going to get deep into it, guys. And do me a favor, guys. Share the content. Get the likes up. We're going to have a good show. I got another powerful show on tomorrow. I might not be long with you guys tonight, but I got another powerful show on tomorrow. And also maybe Sunday, because I'm trying to show you guys a causal chain that's associated with dating and getting married in modern times. See, the problem with many women in modern times as it relates to dating, they not only have too much power, but many times they use their power to control you. I told you men in the past that you are the prize catcher. You are the prize catcher. You're the prize that more or less she looks up to and she wants to be caught. You are the prize catcher. If you deem her to be a prize-worthy woman, then she'll be caught by a masculine man. But all too often, ducks think that they are swans. You know, these ducks, they think they are swans. And see, when ducks think they are swans, guys, you have to pluck a duck. You got to pluck a duck because, see, ducks have what's called a condition called, in the clinical world, ducks have a condition called, what we call it, egocentric. Yeah. Ducks, you know, they got egocentria. They think that they are better than what they really are. See, a duck thinks it's a swan, but a duck is not a swan. A duck is a duck. Quack, quack. You know, a duck is a duck. But see, a duck thinks it's a swan. A duck does not have the elegance and the grace of a swan. You know, it doesn't have the elegance and the grace of a swan. And many times, guys, when this happens, see, you become a saboteur of your own ignorance because you think that that duck is going to change its behaviors. But see, you know, ducks cause a lot of chaos. You know, ducks leave a lot of feces all around. You know, you walk in an area where there are a lot of ducks, and we know the birds defecate by nature, but, you know, ducks leave a lot of feces, a lot of green feces, and you thinking you got you a swan, but you got a duck. And see, if you're not careful, instead of you plucking that duck will pluck you. And when you get plucked by a duck, you can more or less lose everything that you work hard for. You can lose your peace of mind, like Tom Brady's about, could happen to Tom Brady. You can lose your resources. You can lose your sense of prominence. Because now the world that we live in does not more or less benefit men as it relates to helping men become the better versions of themselves. But in the meantime, shout out to my man, I'm Brandon Jett, for that $5, that $20 super sticker. I appreciate it, Brandon Jett. He says, showing support to a great content creator, AKA the coach clinician. I appreciate it, man, and that's a deal, right? I'm Brandon Jett. Brandon showed me a lot of love this week. And Brandon Jett, because of your love and your kindness, Brandon Jett, and you always showing love and kindness, you and a lot of the other brothers. Brandon Jett, you are the #1 sponsor of this stream thus far. And see, guys, you know, ducks, they get mad when you call out their bad behavior. That's why they call you despicable, like Daffy Duck. Because, see, ducks know that what they're doing is foolish. But, see, a duck will get mad at you when you call out bad behavior and say despicable because, you know, ducks don't want you to be liberated. Ducks don't want you to be with swans. Ducks want you to stay with ducks. That's why they get mad. But, see, when we see this kind of behavior, guys, we got to say, you know what, it's time to pluck a duck because ducks don't more or less get you the outcomes you want. Ducks many times cause you a lot of pain, and they cause you a lot of hurt, and they cause you a lot of destruction because many times ducks don't have the same qualities as a swan. And, you know, that's why men should be very concerned about dating in modern times. They need to be very concerned because many times when a man more or less commits himself and his finances to the modern woman, he's at risk of losing everything. And that's why so many men and so many content creators are saying that, you know, that the evidence is overwhelming. The evidence is overwhelmingly true that when men put themselves in a predicament where they're not more or less operating in power, then they're more at risk for not feeling like they are men. And many times they feel emasculated. And that's why I told you guys that falling in love can be very dangerous. Should you love your woman? Oh, yes, because the gospel says husbands love your wife. But being in love and falling in love is a play of words, but falling in love sounds just like falling in love. And so once you fall, you can never operate in a manner that's conducive to more or less being a man. Because see, being a man, you have to be very precise. You have to be very diligent because if you don't, the system that we live in here in America or in the West is not beneficial or advantageous to the modern man. And because it's not advantageous to the modern man, you have to be very careful or you can lose your bearings based on what's going on in the world. And that's why I've always said, guys, that money alone is not going to make a woman submit if it's not in her culture or her nature. I keep telling you guys, it's about power for many of these modern women. It's about power. And so when these Decepticons don't get the power that they want, guys, then they turn to ducks. And when they turn to ducks, you're going to challenge that behavior. And once again, you got to say to yourself, it's time to pluck a duck. Y'all already know what time. It's that time. So pluck a duck. You already know.
You're despicable.
That's all, folks.
Yeah. Ducks don't like correction. And see, when you try to correct a duck, once again, is going to call you despicable. Because ducks don't like to change. Ducks like to stay in their same sad, bad behavior. But at the end of the day, ducks want to get treated like a swan. And see, you can't treat ducks and hyenas like swans and also lionesses. You can't do it because lionesses have a level of regality and grace, but also does a swan. And that's why you men must be very vigilant about putting yourself in a position where you will not be a saboteur of your own ignorance. Because see, Pandora's box, guys, has been opened. Pandora's box has been opened. And because Pandora's box has been opened, the whole melee that we have now is never going to be back into a state of fruition until we take the old wineskins and put new wine into it. And that's why you men need to be more assertive in what you want from women and knowing what the laws are and demanding if a woman wants your hand in marriage, then she should more or less advocate to change the laws. But if she's not willing to change the laws, don't give her your hand in marriage. Make her earn that relationship because see, when she earned that relationship, she's more apt to more or less stay in that relationship. But see, when she don't earn that relationship as it relates to behavior modification, she's not more or less apt to stay in that said relationship. That's why augmenting how you move as a man is so important. But see, so many of you men, you give your virtue and your power away because you make her better than you make yourself. And when you make a woman better than you make yourself, it does not help you, but many times it hurts you. But see, Gazelle, however you say her name, she got things twisted. She got things real twisted because Gazelle thought that she was dealing with an average man. But see, she's not dealing with an average man. Tom Brady is a lion. He's a Leo. And Leo men, you can't control them. You can't control Leo men in general because Leo men do what they want to do. They say what they want to say. They have a competitive edge and a charm that's appealing. And so when she realized that she couldn't control Tom Brady anymore, then of course, those swans that act like ducks, eventually they showed their true color, which is a duck. See, Gazelle looks like a swan on the outside. That's why you got a lot of women that that they fake it till they make it. But many times these so-called swans are also just ducks masquerading as feminine women, just like you got hyenas that masquerade. And that's why I told you guys, never fall in love, but love her within reason. When you love her within reason, then you will not become a saboteur of your own ignorance. And that's what's wrong with the world to now, and that's what's wrong with the world today. There is no accountability associated with how it impacts the mind, soul, body, and spirit of a man. Your life should be more or less a footprint to how you move forward in society. But see, we don't live in societies where, men are galvanized to be the best version of themselves. Men are held accountable, which in essence keeps men grounded. But sadly, our women are not held accountable to the point that they can see the error of their ways. And that's why I tell you men, don't save them. Let them learn and suffer the recompense of their bad choices. It's not your responsibility to save them. Because if you save them, they will never learn. Some women learn within reason and some women learn through hardship. And some of these simps, they're going to learn through hardship as well because they think that they can reason with a duck. And they think that they can reason with a hyena, but you can't reason with a duck, and you definitely can't reason with a hyena because many times they will seek to sabotage you because they don't have your best interest in mind. But as I always told you guys before in the past, changing how you think about thinking is going to be paramount to helping you become the better version of yourself. And I'm going to show you guys something about Gazelle and Tom Brady. Hold tight. I'm going to show you guys something. And we're going to break down what's going on between Gazelle and Tom Brady. And we're going to chop it up. Hold tight. And you know, I'm going to tell you guys something else. When you get married to the wrong woman, not only will your productivity stop, but your dream will start. Look at Russell Wilson's productivity and look at Tom Brady's productivity. When you're dealing with women that are causing you pain, distress, and not cooperative, your productivity will drop. Russell Wilson was on fire when he was with Seattle. But if you notice a correlation between when Russell Wilson was in Seattle versus Denver, Sierra started to show that bad behavior. Russell was on an upward trajectory, but look at Russell's behavior and performance in football now. It's on a decline. It's on a downcline because he's dealing with a woman that manifests or more or less presumed herself to be a swan. But see, Sierra wasn't a swan. She was a duck. You know, Sierra was just a duck. And see, when you see a duck, you got to pluck a duck. You got to pluck a duck because, see, these ducks are more or less swans many times in disguise. And you begin to see it with Tom Brady as well. Tom Brady is a prolific quarterback, perhaps the best quarterback that ever played the game. But now even Tom Brady himself, guys, his productivity is dropping because of what's happening with Gazelle. And see, a woman is supposed to be an asset to your life and to help you reflect your mission as a man. But see, when a woman is not an asset to your life to help you reflect your mission, not only do you suffer irreparably as it relates to your mental health, but also you suffer irreparably sometimes as it relates to your financial health, but also your physical health. Because in the clinical world, we call it a psychosoma, psychosomatic, mind, body, mind, soma equals body. And so when you're more or less gesticulating what's going on mentally about your woman or ruminating what's going on about your woman, then you can't perform on the gridiron because, see, your mind, instead of it being in the game, your mind is about what your wife said or what the media said, and therefore you're not being your best. And some would say just fight through it, but it's not always easy to fight through it. That's why I told you guys that many times these modern women are dream destroy. They'll destroy your dream because, see, they don't have no sweat equity in the game. That's why I told you guys you need to make her earn that relationship. You need to make her earn that ring. And the minute you make her earn that relationship and that ring as it relates to behavior modification, you make her jump through as many hoops as necessary before she get that ring, especially if you're a man that got something to lose. If you believe in prenups because you're a rich man, make her sign it. Make her sign a prenup. Make her, if you deem it to her to take some type of polygraph test. And I know that might sound extreme, but you make her go through it. If you got values or you got questions that you think she might lie about. Because many times they will lie before you get married. They'll tell you what they want to hear. And we know that men and women both lie, but for the sake of the argument, we're talking about women on tonight. Because as a therapist, I do believe in male empowerment. But I use these channels and this show to empower men through the lens of critical inquiry using clinical concepts, but also urban trends and also the art of life and socialization to help men get the best outcome that are viable and sustainable as it relates to their productivity as men. But see, a man can't be productive when he's worried about what's going on behind him. I did a show back in February where it said if you protect his six, then he'll protect your six. But see, these modern women are not protecting the ego of their men. Because a woman, her commission and her mission is to protect your ego. But see, if she's not protecting your ego as a man, then how can you become the best version of yourself? You can't do it. Because see, your productivity is down because you're stressed out mentally. You're dealing with a woman that's more or less trying you. And you're dealing with a woman that's more or less fighting you for power in the relationship. Because in according to original sin, it said that she will have a desire for her husband, but he will rule over her. Because after the fall, women started to want the power in the relationship, and they wanted the power just like the man wanted the power. But God said because of the curse, he will rule over her, and she will have suffering in her childbearing. That was part of the curse. Because man did not do his job leading and guiding her. Then part of the curse is that she's going to suffer pain in childbearing, and he's going to have to work for the sweat of his brow. That's part of the curse. But see, you can't, when you're trying to work and you're struggling, many men die early. Men, the average age for a man to die is around 72, but the average age for a woman is around 77. And so you're going to ask yourself the question, how is this relationship benefiting me if I'm constantly looking behind my back? I'm constantly worried if she got my 6. Because if she doesn't have your 6, then she's not a friend of yours, she's a foe. Because she is a duck. And because she's a duck, she needs to be plucked. And see, when you pluck a duck, you just don't tolerate it anymore. You just get rid of her and you focus on yourself and your mission. Because as you get older, your greatest mission is your peace and your purpose. Men, as they get older, they need peace in order to be at rest. And a woman's job is to help you be at rest. But if she's not helping you be at rest, then she's causing you to be in a state of distress. I'm going to show you guys something. I hope they don't get me in trouble. But anyway, let's look at what Gisele Bündchen said. Because what you're seeing, guys, is many times these relationships, these women see their worth as being more than the man. And we can say for the sake of argument that perhaps that Gisele wanted Tom to retire because of his physical health. But, listen, in other cultures, women just let their men be men. I get it partially. But you knew that Tom Brady was a superstar when you got with him. I get it partially that he's always gone, but she's a superstar. Who's to say she's not always gone? Who's to say she's not doing whatever? But many times they want to mold you guys into how they want you to be. That's why I said many men have become Mitches. They're Mitches. That's what many men are. They're Mitches. And you know what I'm talking about when I say a Mitch. Because their women have adequately molded them into the type of man that she wants him to be instead of allowing him to be the man that he should be. And so we're going to talk about it, guys. We're going to get deep into it. And I might even drop the link. But I'm not going to be with you for long on the night because I got a lot of things to do on tomorrow. I got a powerful show on tomorrow. You guys are going to love it. But the more things change, guys, the more they change, the more they remain the same. And that's why money alone would not make a woman fall in line. Perhaps after she gets older and she's seen a lot of hardship, then perhaps. But in general, if you're not her number one pick, in general, if she's not more or less raised in a strong patriarchal culture, she's not going to fall in line. And if she got money, then that's power to her because she can fight you equally. That's why women in foreign countries don't fight their men because they need their men in order to become the better versions or more or less to feel safe and secure because women by nature are survivalists. But I'm going to show you guys something. I'm going to show you guys this and we're going to read through it real quick. Hold tight. Because it's going to make sense as we move forward. Shout out to my man, 5-year-old 5. Not even Tom Brady can exert effort to prevent Giz here from having sex with other men. She will be gobbling bananas. That's funny. And listen, guys, if you want your comments, please show. If you want your comments read, guys, just show your love, and I can read through some of the comments better if you send me a super chat or more or less whatever. So I can read through the comments more when you do the super chats, but I appreciate it. Shout out to my man, Steven Santiago, for that $20 super sticker. Thank you, Steven Santiago. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you, sir. And that's a deal, right? Thank you, Steven Santiago. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate it. But I'm going to show you guys something real quick, and I'm going to let you guys tell me what y'all think about it because it's going to make sense as we read through it. Hold tight. So, Gisele Bündchen, however you say her name, doesn't think that she can repair marriage to Tom Brady can be prepared. She is done. And that's why I say, guys, a lot of times these modern women are dream destroyers. Look at Jeff Bezos. He was a multi-billionaire. His marriage is over. Look at Steve Jobs. His marriage ended. The wife of Steve Jobs, I think it was Jeff Bezos, she married a teacher, guys. And then within 2 years, she silently divorced that man. That's why I say, guys, many of these women are broken vessels. They can't make salvageable wives because they've been imprinted, and many are broken vessels. And even the ones that are striving, they still struggle internally with following your leadership. So I'm gonna show it to you guys. Gazelle Bundchen is done. Is done with trying to make her marriage to Tom Brady work. Is ready to move on. Source tells people. The supermodel who's been working with a divorce lawyer for weeks, a source previously told people, is ready to end their 13-year marriage. And that's why I tell you guys, never get married for no goofy mess called love. That's why I said, until they change the laws, I don't believe men should get married in America. It's no benefit. I'm not against marriage, but it doesn't benefit marriage here in America for white and black men. This is a Western issue. She is done with their marriage. Hold tight. She's done with their marriage. An insider close to Bundchen said she was upset about it for a long time. It's difficult, but she feels like she needs to move on. And listen to what they said, guys. That's why I said, guys, if she's not able to control her feelings, then she's not ready for the office of marriage. It says she feels like she needs to move on, not that she knows she needs to move on. And see, that's why, guys, I say, unless you get a woman that's consistently garnered and wired to honor and serve you as a man, then she's not going to be an asset to your life. She's going to be a deficit to your life. And so once again, she says she feels like she's ready to move on, not that she knows she's ready to move on. And feelings many times sabotage a lot of these women. They break their families up based on feelings, thinking they're going to get a better deal. But many times they don't get a better deal, guys. They think they're going to get a better deal. But many times they don't get a better deal. And when they don't get a better deal, then they expect you to come and try to save them. So they think they're going to get a better deal, but many times they don't get a better deal. And that's the problem with many modern women now. You know, they think they deserve, they think they deserve your love, your provision, and your protection, but many times they don't. And that's why you have to be very astute as a man with choosing and vetting the proper woman. And that's why many men say they don't want to bring their wives back here to America. Can she survive here in this America? It's possible. But she needs to be a spiritual woman, a woman that's serious about family and tradition, and a woman that's heavily socialized to honor and respect her man. But let's continue to read through the comments. But she did say feel. And that's what they do. A woman that's not disciplined, she lets her feelings become the best or more or less sabotage her mission. She said she doesn't think that I believe the marriage can be repaired. Bundchen say, Bundchen say it's okay as their relationship seems to end. They add, she just trying to figure out life. She doesn't have much contact with Tom. And that's why I said, guys, once again, I don't believe in no concept called love. Love is a feeling. It comes and goes. You should love God first. You should love your purpose second. But you should never love a woman more than you love your mission as a man. And Bundchen, who shares 2 children with Tom's son, Benjamin Rain, and 9-year-old daughter, Vivian Link, along with Brady's son, John Edward, with ex-model Bridget Moynihan, feels bad for the kids, but she doesn't expect any custody issue, the insider said. And once again, that's what they do. They just move on. They don't look at all the stress and the struggle that it takes a man to become who he is. But as soon as they don't feel like being in a relationship because they're not emotionally disciplined, they are ended. That's why you need to make her jump through hoops before you become a slave in modern marriages. That's why I'm against, this save your community or save the community until the laws change. If she's not ready to march, then she's not ready to be your wife. If she's not willing to put her neck on the line to change the laws, don't ask men to give their servitude in marriage because it's a bad deal. It says that the couple reached a property, purchase of property in the exclusive Indian Creek home in Miami Beach for $17 million. And the source said Bundchen would like to stay if the divorce goes through. Gazelle loves Miami. She has friends there. She can see herself living there permanently. Again, she's trying to figure things out, the source says. She's doing yoga, meditating, and taking care of herself. She doesn't put any pressure on herself to make any drastic decision. And a lot of this, guys, is because I'm going to assume because she wanted Tom to be what she wanted Tom to be. But Tom is a competitor and Tom is a lion. And you cannot control a Leo man. It's not going to happen. You can't control Leo men. It's not in our nature to be controlled. We'll fight back against it. You can't take a man that's arguably the greatest quarterback that ever played a game and control him. That's why, men got to properly vet these women. And that's why it's dangerous many times talking about power couples. Because many times power couples think that they're equal to you is the power broker in that relationship, which in essence can cause a lot of distress. I want to show you guys something else as well. Hold tight. No doubt. Shout out to my man Al. I'm going to show you guys something else because these conversations are very important. Hold tight. I want to show you guys something else. So this guy gave his own take about his name is Optimized Man. I don't even know who he is. But he said Gazelle Bunch and henpecking of Brady's choice to unretire reminds us that. So let's see what he's talking about, because maybe there's a correlation to why Tom Brady decided to move forward. So let me hear what this guy's talking about. Let's listen to it. We can break it down. Hold tight. Fair use, guys. Fair use. Hold tight.
Fight sources of your wealth. Today we're going to talk about Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen's humongous fight over what perceived to be Tom not listening to her about coming back for another season and what it says about women. Now, before we begin, if you need help from the Red Pill perspective, contact me through the Clarity FM link found here. Now, it's kind of funny because we talked about Gisele a couple episodes ago about DiCaprio, and of course she was one of DiCaprio's women. And you know, it's funny. There's that old say that women say, like, why should I take your decline when you didn't want me at your prime? And DiCaprio had her at her peak when she was 20 years ago, and now she's 42. Tom Brady took on the sloppies, and for all what we know, they've had a pretty happy marriage. They've had 2 children, and let me tell you something. Okay, now some of you have strong opinions on Brady. Over at my podcast, The Awakened Man, about 50 episodes ago, I had an episode called "What You Think of Brady Says a Lot About You." And we're not going to really talk about that. Go check out that episode. But put away the football stuff, because some of you might love the Giants, or you might love the Dolphins, or you've always hated Tom Brady because he's too good looking or has too much success. That tells you you're a liberal, but you might not like him. Let's separate that from this situation. Gisele. Gisele is a good example of how the beautiful handle aging the hardest. We have an episode here about that, and we talk about how beautiful women, when they go post-wall, actually have a higher rate of having schizophrenia, paranoid schizophrenia, because they're so used to being in the spotlight, paparazzi, look at me, me. And then as time goes on and they enter the invisible years, 40 to 80, 40 to death, they get less of that. And now they have to pretend almost on some subconscious level that they're still being watched and looked at. So beautiful women handle it the hardest. And like, Gisele's 42, she looks great for 42, but she is past her peak. I mean, nobody can deny that. Leo's probably like high-fiving the P Patrol, but like, yeah, I had her at her best, and now Brady can have her as she gets older. Now, I watched, and this is free. Facebook had that documentary about 3 years ago, probably after Brady won the last Super Bowl, called Tom versus Time. And I would watch that if you care about football or care about intersexual dynamics from a celebrity perspective. They're like 6 15-minute episodes. But in the 5th episode, I think Gisele comes on. And Gisele's honest. She's like, I want him to retire. And
remember, it's what she wants. That's why I said these modern relationships, guys, many times, they just don't work many times. These modern relationships, guys, many times they don't work. And many of these women, guys, are seeking a rebound in their latter years. I'm not saying that a woman can't get married in her latter years, but you know, many times after they had their fun, they want you to more or less take them while they're on the downcline. And I think this was a war of power between Tom Brady and Gazelle Bündchen. I think that's what it was. Jetty C said that she was sloppy seconds. Tom could have picked whoever or anyone, but he picks. I totally agree. Tom could have went abroad and got a superior woman to this woman. I don't even see how she's considered to be one of the prettiest women in the world. She's not attractive to me, but for some reason they say she's very attractive. She's very average looking to me. I don't know whatever the beauty standard is. She's not impressive to me. But that's why guys need to know what their worth is and not settle for mediocrity. They don't need to settle for mediocrity. Hold tight.
This is right after he won the last Super Bowl with the Patriots. So you kind of see where she's coming from. Then if you watched, ESPN had the Man versus the Arena, and like that was just a big big self-promotion documentary for Tom Brady. But she's in there as well. And she doesn't really talk about him retiring, but he has come out in the past and said that Giselle has said that he needs to find a better work-life balance and that he needs to spend more time with the kids. All right, look, Giselle. Is it not enough you're with the GOAT? I mean, this is a perfect example of women and how they're never happy. They're really never happy. You can go to Sly Stallone. We talked about that. Thank you for those views. It's probably one of my biggest episodes in probably since 2020. I appreciate that. But it's like, you see these people. Is not like inventing Microsoft good enough for you? Is not inventing Amazon good enough for you? Is not being an action star that is going to be remembered forever good enough for you? And it's the same thing. Is not being the greatest NFL player of all time good enough for you? Now, I know some of you Tom Brady haters, you can't deny the rings. You can't deny the how many championship games he's gone to. You can't deny his longevity. He is the greatest of all time. And I'm not like some Brady apologist. He is the greatest of all time. But it's a good example. It's like you were the greatest NFL player of human history, probably ever. Let's be real in terms of titles and longevity. And it's still not good enough for you.
Still not good enough, right.
Giselle. Look, okay, I'll be a Giselle apologist. Let's see it from Giselle's point of view. Let's give Giselle some credit. So when they started dating, Brady had a baby rabies episode with Bridget Moynihan. Some of you might not know this if you're young. So Bridget Moynihan was an actress that was pretty big about 15 years ago. She was in the Al Pacino, Colin Firth movie, The Recruit. She was in Lord of War with Nicolas Cage. And she's most famously been on Blue Bloods, that TV show for like 10 years. But she was an older woman that Brady was dating in the first 10 years of his career. She was older. They break up. Whoops, I got pregnant. Little baby rabies, because Moynihan was probably in her mid-30s at that point. So watch out, got that episode of baby rabies. He starts dating Giselle. And, I mean, imagine how awkward that is. Hey, Giselle, you're one of the most famous supermodels of the world. I just knocked up my ex-girlfriend. Yeah. And, you know, for all accounts that we hear, Giselle handled it well. I mean, she probably ideally didn't want that situation, but she's handled it well. And apparently she has been a very good co-parent with Bridget Moynihan. But let's look at it from Giselle's point of view. Giselle is estimated to be worth about $400 million. I know. I know, right? But it goes back also to what we say. Women don't earn their SMV. What did Giselle do to earn her SMV? I mean, Tom Brady, say what you want. Concussions, injuries, having to stay in perfect shape, the TB12 diet, he can't eat sugar and tomatoes and all this stuff. Okay, he has to have to sacrifice 6th-round draft pick, you know, nobody believed in it. Giselle's born with beauty, and then she pulls off a couple blue steel poses for whatever, 5-10 years, and then she parlays that into a bunch of fashion endorsements. She's estimated to be around $400 million. Kudos to her, but you didn't really earn it. Let's be real. Brady is worth around the same, $400 million. Now, going back to Giselle. Okay, Giselle's point of view. My husband plays football. Look what happened to Demetrius Thomas, the Denver wide receiver. He died of concussions at 34. Look at Junior Seau. Look at all these people, Muhammad Ali. Too many injuries. They become incapacitated. And, she's like, we have enough money. I don't need to be. She's got that Brazilian accent. We don't need to be. And so she's like, why don't you just retire? I understand on one level where she's coming from. But this is my retort. You started dating Brady. You knew what he was. I'm sure Brady told you in 2012 that he wanted to play till he was like 50, and you're like, yeah, whatever. But you knew who he was. You knew what occupation he went into. It's like when teachers drive me crazy, and I love teachers or firefighters. They're like, I hate this job. I don't pay enough. You knew what they were paying when you went into it. You still went into it. But Giselle, it's like you knew he was a quarterback. And I'm sure part of you loved the fact that aside from being handsome and 6'4" or whatever he is, that he's one of the most recognizable people in America. I'm sure you like that. And look, say what you want about Brady.
And see, guys, remember, your value is earned. She's born of hers. But you want to take an ultra competitive man, and I get it about work-life balance. Some will say, well, maybe she don't want to think about him getting hurt. But Tom Brady is the GOAT for a reason. And, you trying to dictate to your man what he should do is a problem. Now, I don't know how much time away Tom is from his family. But many times after these men retire, their relationships end anyway because the woman never really was more or less invested in a relationship to begin with. And we began to hear rumblings of Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen a couple of years ago about them having issues. But that's why I said being married in the West, guys, is a waste. Unless she's a godly woman that raised in a traditional family, and many we know that it's hard to find that. And unless she knows or have elders to keep her in check, it's just a waste of time, man. It's a waste of time because it's not a matter of if they'll leave you. It's just a matter of when. And I hate to be pessimistic, but sadly, that's the truth.
Brady hustles, Brady works hard, and Brady wants to keep playing. He is the man, so you shut it and let him do what he wants to do. And let's remember, Gisele, the NFL season is one of the shortest seasons in all of pro sports. Look at soccer. Soccer runs from like early August to late May. Then in the summer, many of them play in international tournaments. Look at NBA. NBA is long. What is it, like November to June? Look at baseball. Baseball, spring training, whatever. It's March to October if you get that far. You got to tolerate him playing for 5 months. 5 months, maybe a little more if they go deep into the playoffs. But it starts in August, early August, and it runs to January. 5 months you can handle the kids for another year. Plus the kids are older. I think you can handle 5 months. NFL season is one of the shortest things. You have them all you want for 7 months to henpeck them. Okay? Right. 5 months. And as some of you know, he took off some mysterious days in August.
And see, guys, that's what happens when you got a woman that's not totally on board with your program. When a woman's on board with your program, she's not going to try to shame you or make you do things based on how she feels. Look at Tom's production, as I said, guys, before the start of last year compared to now. Tom Brady is not performing to his best because he's probably under a lot of stress. And the wrong woman can cause you not only lose time, but also money. Keep listening. Hold tight.
And then we found out via page 6, which leaked it, that Gisele was pissed that he came back for another season because some of you know, keep up with the NFL. He retired at the end of last year, and then like 2 months later, he's like, yeah, I'm back. You know, some say he was trying to parlay and try to get over to San Francisco and play with the Niners because that's where he grew up. I don't know. So maybe I'm sure he told her, you know, I want to go back. And maybe she's like, I don't want you to go back. Or maybe she's like, okay, whatever. And then he did it. And now, you know, now it's all blowing up because we're about to start the season. It's 5 months, Gisele. It's 5 months. Not to mention, Gisele, that Brady already has a deal with Fox. I think it's with Fox. That whenever he retires, he's going to be the anchor for Fox News during the football games. And it's for like a lot of money. I forgot how much it is. Like $250 million. It's a crazy amount for like 10 years. And all he has to do is fly in 1 day to do that broadcast live. I mean, who would die to have that gig? Tony Romo has the same gig too. A lot of these guys have that gig, but not for nearly as much money. You don't have to do anything all week. You can sit around, watch film, whatever. And then you fly into...
Well, you guys get my drift, man. And I'm going to show you a show that I did in the past, man. This guy was giving his analysis about the Tom Brady situation and fiasco. But that's why guys are saying, you know, I'm not getting married in these modern times because the women are not geared to honor and respect men and to respect their masculinity. And that's why I said many times marriages in modern times, guys, is not only a risk, it can be a dream destroyer. Because many men had their dreams destroyed once they got married. I'm going to ask you guys a question to the men that are listening. Shout out to the good women because they're far and few in between. But how many of you men had dreams before you got married, but once you got married, you felt like your dreams were under wraps because she was more or less trying to challenge your dreams and tell you what to do? If your dreams were challenged, I need you to hit 1. If your dreams were not challenged, I need you to hit 2. Shout out to my man Cody Marshall. He said if she's supportive of your purpose, then she's not. If she's supportive of your purpose, If she's not supportive of your purpose, then let her leave. No doubt, man. I appreciate it, Cody Marshall. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it, Cody. I agree with you 1,000%. But if she was supportive of your mission, hit 1. If she was not supportive, I need you guys to hit 2. Because now you guys are beginning to see what many men are seeing. Now, I did a comprehensive show back in February about how does love benefit men in modern times. And many men, when they got married, they say for better or for worse until death do us part. But that's not happening, guys, in modern times, in modern relationships. They're not saying until death do us part. Many of these women are dream killers. And, I'll say it again. If I was a single man, I would not, for the most part, date women in the West. It's no benefit because they don't know what structure look like. Many don't honor and respect men and masculinity. And I'll be damned if I'm going to let a woman tell me what to do, or any man, but definitely not a woman. I'm going to do what I want to do as it relates to being a man in my home. And if I can't do it, then she can go, and we'll keep this train moving because, see, life is short. And that's why I tell men to live your life on your own terms. We call it in the clinical world the right to self-determination. If you're not living your life on your own terms, then you're living your life on her terms. She's supposed to fall under your submission, under your mission, not you falling under hers. It does not mean that your wife cannot have say in decision. It does not mean that you should not consult your wife. You should consult with her. But at the end of the day, you are the power broker in that relationship. You are the power broker in that relationship. And that's the way it should be. And that's why we need to have these discussions, especially for the younger men, so that they don't make the same mistakes that so many have made in the past. And so some of the guys are saying when they got married, she didn't support this mission. Some said she did. And yeah, wow. And but people wonder why men are not getting married anymore. I want you guys to look at this. How does love benefit men in modern times? This was a good, it was a 4-hour show, but this is a short clip, not as long. But we're gonna break it down, guys, and explore. Hold tight.
Fire for your mind. The kosher clinician. On today, guys, and the question that remains for the day is this: does Valentine's or love benefit men? Does Valentine's or love benefit men? And we're going to look at things from a very, what I call, cerebral perspective as we more or less explore the dynamics of the concept of love and how love as a byproduct, even though on surface love can be good, a man should never love a woman more than he loved God and his purpose. But because when she decides to leave, and many do leave, then what will you have? Will your inner sanctum have been violated because you fell for the nebulous concept called love? So we're going to talk about it, guys. I need you to get your pens and your papers ready. I need you guys to get the likes up. Share this content because my mission as a licensed therapist is to inspire as many men as I can in these very turbulent times. But also my desire is to inspire and more or less, how can I say it, push forth the brotherhood. I told you that part of the Manhood Chronicles is based on this premise. That manhood is a series of hills and valleys, victories and failures. And manhood is a journey, not a destination. And whereas men, we may not agree on all things or ideologies, and we won't always agree on all things, and we will not always agree on ideologies, and that's okay. But we come together as allies of a common cause, only to dissipate and or go away when the crisis is over. There is a crisis in heteronormative masculinity centered around, once again, the nebulous concept called love. And we got to ask ourselves the question, does love benefit men? Does Valentine's benefit men? Have you been a sucker for the dopamine rush called love? Because dopamine is tied to that neural-stimulating hormone called dopamine. And we got to talk about it, guys, because many men have been more or less saboteurs of their own ignorance because they failed for the nebulous concept.
Shout out to my man Cody Marshall for that $5 super sticker. Cody Marshall said that Valentine's Day never benefit men. It always focuses on the main consumer, and that's the woman. Right, and many times Cody Marshall, they give that woman that validation without making her earn it. You got to make a woman earn that relationship. You can't give it to her for free. Women of old understood that, but modern women don't get it, and that's why you got to live your life on your own terms, because it's your life. Concept called love. Back in the past, I remember the Little Rascals, and on the Little Rascals, he said that I'm in the mood for love. I think it was Spanky. And he said, simply because you're near me. And that was a time when women more or less exuded the virtues of being feminine. They exuded the virtues of being a girly girl. And they exuded the virtues of the women of the past that were synonymous to being honorable and also worthy of love and adulation. But the question remains now is, do modern women qualify for love? And I say modern women because I'm not talking about traditional women. I'm not talking about traditional women. A traditional woman knows her place in the dichotomy or the ecosystem of a man. She's been conditioned to come into the relationship to serve her man. And because she's been conditioned to come into the relationship to serve her man, she is a byproduct of the blessings that man's going to give to her, because she realizes that man will love her if she honor and respect him as a man. And as Bishop Charles E. Williams said, y'all ain't gonna talk to me. But I wanna talk about it because, Keith Sweat made a song back in the 90s, If You Were a Gen Xer. And some will argue that men have been conditioned to be simps. And I told you guys that there are two types of simps. One is a conscious simp. The other one is a unconscious simp. The conscious simp stands for sacrificing important masculine principles. The conscious simp knows what he's doing is wrong, but he does it anyway because he's been blinded by the love and the beauty of a woman. But watch this. The unconscious simp is a byproduct of men that have grown up in single-parent homes many times. And the unconscious simp means supplementing irrational male patterns, because it's irrational to give a woman something that has not earned it if she haven't earned it. It's irrational to put a woman above your purpose as a man. It's irrational to esteem that woman higher than you esteem yourself. That's irrational. And that's why, men, we got to have these conversations, because you guys have been product and or byproducts of negative socialization, and you've been byproduct of something called negative conditioning, social conditioning. And because of that, so many of you men have learned to defer your power instead of demanding power. The late, great Frederick Douglass said it, Bella and I could say it, as we are in Black History Month. Frederick Douglass said that power never conceded to anything without a struggle. It never have, and it never will. And so the question remains is, what are you willing to concede as it relates to your masculinity as a man? What are you willing to give up to the point that you lose your dignity as a man? Because what I've learned as it relates to the psychology of women, women only respect men that stand in power and strength, because she was designed to look up to you. She was designed to serve you if you believe in the tenets of theology. The gospel says that the woman was made for the man, if you believe in that. But even if you don't believe in the tenets of the Bible, the Torah and the Quran to more or less supports it, because it's all part of the patriarchal system of God. Now we're going to talk about it, guys, because, do modern women qualify for love? Do they qualify for your time? Do they qualify for your attention? Do they qualify for your resources? Because so many of you men have such low self-esteem, you just give it away for free. She hasn't done anything for you. Can you define what love really is? Thank you, brother. Thank you, King. The real Blackler. I think that's a brother. Well, listen, love for me, real Blackler, as it relates to masculinity, it's when the woman can love a man outside of her feelings. Now listen, there are different types of love. There's eros love, which is what men and women want. There's phileo love, which is brotherly love. There's storge love, which is the love of a child. But then there's agape love, which is the love of a friend. But see, when a woman can love a man outside of herself, and when she can love a man outside of her feelings, then that means she really loved that man because she's conditioned to love him more than she loved herself. But see, many modern women can't love a man more than they love themselves because they love their feelings more. And so when she's a slave to her feelings, then she can never truly love you. But when she works and she more or less strives to put her feelings under subjection, then that means that woman loves you because she's cognizant of the needs to put her feelings aside for the greater mission, which is the marriage. Remember, the man is the husband, the woman is the garden, and the children are the produce. When a woman can adequately do that, then she's ready to become a wife, or more or less to serve you in beauty. But the lines have been so blurred, guys, now that, a woman can say, I love you today, and, she'll be with another man 5 months or a couple of months after y'all broke up. That's not really love, in my opinion. So hopefully that answers your question, but hold tight. But you have decided to more or less esteem her higher than you esteem yourself. And because you have begun to esteem her higher than you esteem yourself, you have got a condition called a schema affliction. And a schema is based on a fixation in your head that's led to fear associated with the pain of the past. And I told you guys the parlor group therapy is something called corrective recapitulation, which basically means I got to go back to the past and correct that thing that held me renderless or that I surrendered to from my past. I got to go back to the past and remember how I became a simp. Because once again, she only respects power and strength. Are you willing to stand on power and strength? Are you willing to fortify your inner sanctum as a man? Are you willing to stand on masculine principles, even to the point that you might lose out on some vagina? We're going to have these conversations, men, because women only respect masculine men. But liberal indoctrinations and liberal dogmas have more or less taught you that the more masculine you are is a byproduct of a condition called toxic masculinity. But watch this. That ardent feminist that more or less propels the silly notion of toxic masculinity actually loves a masculine man when she's in the bedroom. She loves a man that will check her when she's wrong. Because indoctrination through socialization never supersedes the intrinsic nature of a woman's nature. It'll never succeed it. And guys, I'm not going to play through all of this. I'm going to drop the link in a minute. We're going to have a discussion about this Gazelle Bunchen situation. And have you dealt with women that have been dream destroyers? We're going to have a panel discussion in a minute. I'm going to listen to about 5 more minutes of this, and then we're going to have a discussion. Hold tight. We talk about a condition called nature versus nurture. And ideally, they both should be coalescing or balanced together. But socialization, many times, is not as powerful as the intrinsic nature of femininity, because a woman needs a man to be masculine, because it's the duality of the synchronicity of man and women. I call it optimization through the byproduct of synchronization, because when a man and woman come together, they've been optimized to be synchronized. And this Valentine's Day, many of you men have begun to give your power away. You're giving your power away to women that don't respect you. You're giving your power away to women that don't honor you. You're giving your power away because you feel like you gotta buy her a Valentine's Day present. But the question remains, has she earned that Valentine's Day present? What has she done for you that says she deserves it? Only based on negative social conditioning, where you feel like, I gotta do it. If not, she's gonna be mad at me. Because if you gave her Valentine's only because of the host for sex, well, you're used to sex. You get that every day. She getting a trifecta. She getting your penis. She's getting the Valentine gift, and she's getting taken out for dinner. Well, what are you getting in return? The gospel saying, honor thy father and thy mother. It doesn't say honor thy mother and thy father. It says honor thy father and thy mother. Because Cody Marshall, shout out to Cody Marshall. Cody Marshall said that that means she's only infatuated by you instead of being with you, no doubt. I appreciate it, Cody Marshall. Thank you, brother, for that $5 super sticker. Thank you, Cody. I appreciate 5 years of freedom. Said this man is brilliant. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. And also, thank you, Cody Marshall. I appreciate the guys for the compliments. Thank you, brothers. Because man was here first. And man is the first fruit of God's creation, if you believe in theology. But I want to talk about it because Kevin Samuels talked about something called Galentine's Day. And also, here recently, Antonio Gates is going through a divorce. And so the question remains, does the nebulous concept of love benefit men? Does love benefit men? And does Valentine's Day benefit men in these modern times that we're speaking in? So guys, get the likes up. If you have not donated, donate to the show. Hit Cash App $7 Smalls. If you don't have anything to share, guys, share the content. Share the content if you don't have anything to share. Because some of y'all might be broke because y'all been paying all your money. Y'all kicked all the money, them flowers and cards and candy. And you got to take your woman out to, to a nice restaurant. But I want to be clear on this. I'm not against a man taking care of a good traditional woman, a woman that honors him as a man, loves him as a man, and respects him as a man. I'm not against that at all. Because in fair exchange, there is no robbery. There's no robbery, guys, in fair exchange. But the question remains, what are you getting as a fair exchange in this current time that we live in called America? What are you getting, men? Are you getting fair exchange from the modern woman? Have you became a saboteur of your own ignorance because you've been socialized to think I gotta do it? And I'm here to break that schema of affliction on today, brother. I'm here to restructure that cognitive issues that you're having in your head because you have been conditioned to think that you must give her something without making her earn it. And what I've learned with women actually respect men that make them earn things. She might fight you in the beginning, but it's in her nature and it's in the human nature to fight for things that they got to work for. Humans tend to build character based on things that they have to earn. But things that are given simply and easily, people don't respect. And that's why we got to have this conversation, guys. We got to have this conversation. So once again, get the likes up. Get the likes up. Share this content. If you have not shared the content, donate to Cash App $7 Smalls. So I want you guys to let that marinate because this is going to be a great show. And I love the brotherhood. I love the brotherhood. And I want to see you men win. I don't want you men to come in to therapy sessions depressed and broken because you found out your woman cheated on you, or you found out she didn't really love you, but she was just using you for her own benefit. I believe that in relationships, men and women both should benefit. I believe that a woman should benefit as long as her man is benefiting. But I don't believe that a man should just give his best to a woman that have not earned it, because that's negative behavior modification. In a good relationship, she benefits and he benefits. It's complements of one another. It's symmetry. It's congruence. But when she's constantly benefiting and he's not benefiting, then that's positive reinforcement for the woman, but it's negative reinforcement for the man. And basically what you're teaching her that her worth matters more than your worth as a man. And what happened in that relationship, it does not teach her to respect you, but it will teach her to use you as a commodity only to satiate her fickle needs as a woman. But you got to be in a relationship where you benefit as a man and where she benefits as a woman. But the question remains is, guys, how many of you men have given your power away because you've been conditioned by your mom? Your mom told you, son, just give her some flowers. And that's what happened many times when men get married in modern times. They give their power away to the woman because they don't know how much worth they have. And that's why I'm so ardent about men getting the best outcomes they can get. I am a staunch male rights advocate. But until men get their needs met in a consistent manner, then they will continue to go down that deep trajectory of pain and brokenness. And that's why I advocate for it so much. Your mom told you, baby, take her out to dinner. Your mom told you, son, buy her a bracelet or buy her a necklace. That's what your mom told you. And she meant well. She only did what was more or less predicated on her hard drive as a woman. But a masculine dad would have told you, boy, listen here. If she don't respect you as a man, you tell her what you expect. If she doesn't tighten her game up and step her game up, you get rid of her, boy. That's what your dad would have told you. That's what a masculine man would have told you. Not a cream puff. And that's what's happening now. We're living in times when we don't have enough masculine men. We don't have enough of them. And that's why our boys know what masculinity looked like. They don't know what it looked like because they've never seen it. They've never seen true masculinity. Masculinity manifest in their communities. And they definitely haven't seen true masculinity manifest in the churches. Because there was a time that true masculinity was manifest, guys, in the churches. But you don't see it anymore because many preachers have compromised the message of the gospel for the sake of money. They compromise. You know, they love money more than they love the gospel or the truth. And Jesus said you can't serve two masters. Either you're going to love one or you're going to hate the other, but you can't serve two. You can't love mammon more than you love dignity as a man. And I get it. It's tempting when people are giving you money to compromise. It's very tempting. But pain is temporary, brethren, and glory is forever. And which one would you rather to choose? The temporary pleasures of fleeting money, or more or less standing in your dignity as a man and letting your name be more or less entrenched in the echelons of time? Shout out to my man, Jedi City, for that 7. He said that powerful clip. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you, Jedi City. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate you donate to the channel. And thank you, 5 years of freedom. He said, excellent use of psychological concepts. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you, guys. And that is, guys, when you guys show that kind of love, you know, when I do what I do, guys, that's what I call this. Fire for your mind. The kosher tradition. And fire for your mind. But we're going to finish listening to it, and then in a few minutes, guys, we're going to drop the link, and we're going to have a discussion. Hold tight. And they said that man stood for principles. He stood for what's right in a time where so many were willing to compromise. So we got to have these conversations, brothers. We got to have these conversations. Brethren, we got to have them. Because it's time for men to be empowered. It's time for men to recalibrate how they've been socialized to think. It's time for men not to be victims like Antonio Gates. Because Antonio Gates now is a victim. Antonio Gates now is going to have a schema affliction. And now Antonio Gates is going to be impacted because now Antonio Gates might say, I can't trust women anymore. I can't give my best to a woman because I don't know if she's going to protect my 6. Because I told you, women, if you're willing to protect his 6, which is his ego, he'll protect your 6 is his ability to love you as a woman. But if you're not willing to protect his 6, which is his ego, because men are at their best when they know that their ego is protected. You might say, what is his ego? Your ability to be loyal is part of his ego. Your ability to honor him is part of his ego. Your ability to respect him is part of his ego. Your ability to do things when you don't feel like doing it is part of his ego. Because that man knows that if you can protect me and respect me and love me when you don't feel like doing it, then that's a good woman. That's a keeper. Because she's not a slave to her emotions. She's very cerebral. She's aware. She has self-awareness. So we're going to talk about it, guys. Get the likes up once again. If you have not shared the content, share the content. If you guys have not donated, I need you guys to donate because this is going to be a good show. And I respect and honor what I'm trying to do, and I'm trying to help you brothers out. So let me read some of these comments real quick. Eden's elements and coach, do you believe some men have become simps in order to sustain their child's life? Yes, some have, and some part. They're simps, they're compromising their masculinity as a man, no doubt. I believe that. AM1 says 0 benefits unless you sell corny Valentine's Day merchandise. Right. It really is no benefit, because I believe Valentine's Day should be about the woman also professing her love for her man. But too many men have given their power away because, that's what they've been conditioned to do. They think that's what they're supposed to do. Shout out to my man, Sean, Big Mac, the Fisher, for the $10 super sticker. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
Right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
Brother. Keep working,
that's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
I appreciate everything you guys do. I appreciate the support, because these shows are very time consuming, but I love to do it because I want to inspire our men, but more or less I want to inspire the young men. But we're going to talk about it, guys. We're going to talk about it because these conversations are very important. We ain't signing, Blank said there's no such thing as fair exchange in today's relationships. Right, brother, you're right. There is no such thing as fair exchange. There is no such thing as fair exchange. It's only about giving to just one. Always giving to her needs instead of you getting something in return. But Teddy Pendergrass knew it better than me, and I say it all the time. It's so good to love somebody and somebody to love you back. Teddy Pendergrass was saying that back in the 70s when I was a little boy. But, back then, they were more complimentary in the relationship. But they're not complimentary now. They're very narcissistic, because she thinks that her need is more important than your need as a man. And you can't allow yourself to fall victim to that kind of pathology, brothers. You can't allow yourself to fall victim. Michael Graham said most of these dudes stop simping to average-looking women and wonder why they're considered in the friend zone. I totally agree with you 100%, brother. There was a time, Michael Graham, when average women were very humble. But see, social media, because of simping, have made average women think they're better than what they really are. Average women were humble women back in the day when I was growing up, before we had all this social media. Back in the 90s, they were average, but they were very humble. But then you got average chicks weigh 500 pounds, they think they're special, and they're not. And, they get mad, they can be a 4, but they want a guy that's a 9 or a 10. What kind of bizarro mess does that, the sense of that make? It doesn't make any sense. My thoughts, I was a family man, but was simping to keep my lady. She left anyway. Right, brother, right. She left anyway, and that's why I do these shows. My thoughts are freedom. That's why I do these shows, brothers. That's why I do the shows. Because I want you guys to become cerebral in how you think. She only respects power and strength. And we all have simped to some degree. We all have simped to some degree. Some more and some less. But that's why we talk about these issues in the universality of brotherhood. Because the question remains, does Valentine's and love benefit? And so enough of that, guys. We know it doesn't benefit men, but let's talk about it more in depth. I'm going to drop the link, guys. Let's have a conversation, an open panel discussion about Tom Brady and dream destroyers. Does modern women destroy the dreams of men when it comes down to relationships? And so we're going to drop the link, guys. Call in. Do modern women destroy the dreams of men in relationships? And let's talk about it. Because many will say that they do. But what do you think about Tom Brady? Where did Tom Brady go wrong, guys, in this current relationship with Gisele Bündchen? And as they say, the more things change, the more they remain the same. And it's beginning to more or less manifest itself into that it just don't benefit men anything to get married in modern times. I'm not against marriage, but to single men trying to get a wife in this culture, man, is crazy, man. And even to the men that are married, some of them, they're struggling too with bad behavior. But the link has been dropped, guys. Let's have a conversation. Tell me, guys, what y'all think. Because some will argue that it doesn't benefit men. So the link has been dropped. Let's have a conversation, guys. Let's have a conversation about getting married in modern times and if it benefits men. Some would say that it don't. How many of you guys have been with women that were dream destroyers? Let's talk about it. How did it impact you mentally as a man? How did it impact your mental health? How did it impact your ability to be mobilized as a man? And what are your struggles currently once your dreams were destroyed? Are you having a lot of regret? Are you having a lot of hurt? Are you having a lot of pain because your dreams were destroyed by a woman that you thought that was going to have your back for the rest of your life? Let's have a conversation, guys, and tell me what you think. The link is dropped if you guys want to talk about it. This Tom Brady, Gazelle Bunchen situation. Tell me, guys, what y'all think about it. Because Tim Howard said, save yourself. A lot of men are beginning to do that. But I would love to hear you guys' comments. Let's have an open panel discussion for the brothers. And then also, there are some women that are listening, to the good sisters that are listening. What's your take on the easy access and no-fault divorce? As many men are feeling that it's just dangerous in a nutshell. So the link has been dropped, guys. Y'all want to call in and join in a panel discussion. But in the meantime, I'm going to play this commercial, guys, about male mental health. If you guys want to have a conversation, let me know. So hold tight. Are you a victim of brokenness and despair? A broken man is a hopeless man, and a hopeless man is a very dangerous man. Many times, many of you young men that are listening come from homes that are very toxic and very dysfunctional. And because of that, many of you have deferred your power in many ways to the point it's led over into your social life, and many times led over into your relationships. If you guys are dealing with mental health pathologies, conscious and unconscious, come see me at kosherclinician@gmail.com. That's kosherclinician@gmail.com. It's important that you deal with your mental health in order to be a better person for yourself, your loved ones, and also your community. But because mental health is often stigmatized, many of you often suffer in silence. Don't be a victim in silence. And see me once again at kosherclinician@gmail.com. And I need you guys to remember this. If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, it ain't right. There are 7 steps that a man must go through in order to become an optimized male. And male mental health is one of those elements that's paramount to the functioning of a man. Be well. All right, guys. So let's talk about it to the brothers and sisters that are listening. If you guys want to have a conversation, let's have a conversation. Before I sign off, I just want to give my input, guys, to this Tom Brady situation and how a lot of you men have been through it yourselves. So the link has been dropped if you guys want to more or less chime in. But if not, I'm going to sign off in a minute. But if you guys don't sign in, I got a show coming up on tomorrow. I think you guys are going to like that. It's going to be a good one. But in the meantime, guys, if you don't sign in, get the likes up for me. I really appreciate it if you guys do. Get the likes up. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And thank you to all the brothers that have donated on tonight. Thank you to Tim Howard, Top Gun, Gail Nelson, and all the guys that have supported the stream on tonight. But in the meantime, guys, feed the algorithm and get the likes up. All right, so what do you think about the Gazelle Bunchen situation? What do you guys think about it? Is it fair? Was Tom right? What role did Tom play in his own demise, or was Gazelle out of order, just like so many modern women? What do you guys think about it? The link has been dropped. So if I don't hear from you guys in about 5 minutes, I'm going to sign off. But in the meantime, I'm going to play a little music until you guys figure out what y'all want to do. But if you want me to end the stream, I'll end it. But I appreciate you guys checking in on tonight. But let me play a little music while you guys trying to figure it out. And if you don't want to sign in or more or less have a conversation, then I'll just end the stream. Hold tight.
My life wasn't perfect, yeah, I know that now. When it came crashing down, all I know is that I need you around. When it comes crashing down, all I need is not to feel so much alone. So step inside my zone, baby, you can give me everything You make my heart and spirit always dance and sing. You're captivating me. All I need is to know that I'm in your heart and never be apart. All I need is not to feel so much alone. So step inside my zone, baby. I can give you everything you want.
All right, guys. Nobody don't want to come up, and that's cool. So anyway, guys, thank you. Thank you all to the brothers and sisters that tuned in on tonight. I'm going to sign off and get ready for tomorrow. I got a good show coming on tomorrow for you guys, and maybe even Sunday. And but guys, thank you for tuning in. It's been a great show on tonight. And guys, get you some rest. Sisters, keep supporting our good men. And guys, unless she earned a relationship, she's not ready for marriage. I told you guys there are 7 steps that a man must go through in order to become optimized. And understanding how female psychology plays a role on the function of a man is paramount to how you move in these modern times. I'm glad you guys enjoyed the show. Shout out to once again to the guys that donated on tonight. And it's more or less to give you guys an idea about how modern women and modern relationships are impacting men. So guys, signing off. Love you, brothers and sisters. And guys, listen, I need you guys to do me a favor, because if you ain't careful, guys, if you ain't careful, you'll be a victim of a duck. And instead of dealing with a duck, guys, you need to pluck a duck. Y'all already know what time. It's that time to pluck a duck. You already know.
You're despicable.
That's all, folks.
Remember those days, those L's, I couldn't sleep right now. I get paid, vacay, I'm staying B-side. Breaking the blues over steak, I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign. I don't need that energy around me. I just need sun, you're so cloudy. I wake up good, you're so grouchy. Please get from around me. When the truth don't work, you start telling lies. Thought you were down to ride, you weren't down to ride. Caught switching, you were picking sides. Don't blink, caught slipping like a slip and slide. I was shooting dice till I got a nosebleed. Money on the floor, can't get cold feet. Took a L, should've put it in the offering. Lord, forgive me for my sins, don't know of me. Scary thoughts, I got scary thoughts. Lost control, now I'm taking charge. Breaking bills, friends breaking off. You could be the youngest, I'm the dawn. Kiss the ring, nah. In the scene like GOT. Stay awake, don't sleep. Like Jon Snow, get R.I.P. Remember those days, those L's, I couldn't sleep right now. I get paid, vacay, I'm staying B-side. Breaking the blues over steak, I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign. I don't need that energy around me. I just need sun, you're so cloudy. I wake up good, you're so grouchy. Please get from around me. Just me, myself, and I'm my favorite threesome. The cars I drive by, I never lease them. They say if you can't beat them, then you join them. That's no option, I don't join, I always beat them. I was fake, you had to find me. Now I'm on beat, skating like I'm grinding. L hit me, said it's all about the timing. If you want the vision, get to spinning. My mama told me trust in God, it's never limits. Now I'm on the scoreboard, running up the digits. I put in work, you know I'm up to get it. Early bird gets the worm and the Yankee fitted. Like whoa, bags under my eyes and you know. Won't complain, I'm tired, I'm on go. For that grip, 10 toes till they swole. For that grip, 10 toes till they swole. Remember those days, those L's, I couldn't sleep right now. I get paid, vacay, I'm staying B-side. Breaking the blues over steak, I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign. I don't need that energy around me. I just need sun, you're so cloudy. I wake up good, you're so grouchy. Please get from around me. I was Calvin, I mean to my belly full. From up north, we get cold, you need a heavy coat. Scared to end up on a shirt before a centerfold. Devil on my back, target on me daily too. Play the keys, don't tweet. It's my peace, don't speak. 24, no sleep. This is real, no tweet. My bros for life, can't break this link. Family on my side, baby stay around me. I don't want no combo, I want checks. I don't want the second, I want this. I'm all in my head, swear I'm a wreck. I've been moving like a hot mess. I don't want no combo, I want checks. I don't want the second, I want this. I'm all in my head, swear I'm a wreck. I've been moving like a hot mess. Want that combo, better know you'll need a check from me. Can pay to play, the sun that still won't get a cent from me. I mix the fit up with the side like it's a remedy. I mix it up inside the pot, watch it drip while it drop. Time to take it to the top. Chips all in the middle like it fall, no I won't flop. We gon' pop like a soda can top. To me this is nothing, call my bluff and I won't stop when I flex. I don't want no combo, I want checks. I want the checks, yeah. I don't want the second, I want best. I want best, yeah. By any means, that's a triple threat. A triple threat. That ass is getting bigger, I might flex. I don't want no combo, I want checks. I don't want the second, I want best. I'm all in my head, swear I'm a wreck. I've been moving like a hot mess. I don't want no combo, I want checks. I don't want the second, I want best. I'm all in my head, swear I'm a wreck. I've been moving like a hot mess. I hit record a drop, you can't ignore it. I'm transforming now these cars and planes, I'm always boarding. Just out touring down in Charlotte like I play for Hornets. When I'm performing, never boring, now you can't afford it. Champagne Perrier, finished friends on my face. Looking like I'm from the deep, D's no Cartiers. Pockets deep, bro. I can make it in my seat, bro. Do you, I'm doing me, bro. Making noise, use a beat, bro. I press the button and the doors go off like that money clip us now, the new now looks like upgrade her diamonds, now her girlfriends are like Neighborhood on the scene, neighborhood on the strip, neighborhood be the name, neighborhood no crib, neighborhood that's me, neighborhood that's Nick, neighborhood do the dance, neighborhood do the deal. Okay, thought I'd never make it like no way. I'm the real deal, no role play. My days off, that's no days. No, I hustle hard, young rose. E be the shooter, that's cold case. Bills on the deals, that's brose. Got no pay, don't no say. Okay, this the news, tell them read it. Been the one since the fetus. Don't sleep on me, Tempur-Pedic. That's a no. Spending dope for no reason. Got a ball head, Mr. Cleaner. Heard the big bags overseas, then we gon' go. I press the button and the doors go off like that money clip us now, the new now looks like upgrade her diamonds, now her girlfriends are like I press the button and the doors go off like that money clip us now, the new now looks like upgrade her diamonds, now her girlfriends are like tunnel vision when I hit the holland. Working on that cause my mind is on an island. Told my babies I'll be homeless, so don't stay up. Breaks my heart to see them sad, so I won't wait up. Need it all that's mine, I need it now. I lost my patience the same week I lost my smile. My baby pressed me, said I'm acting like a child. I took some L's, can lie, that really brought me down. I'm so antisocial, but I guess it's type selective. Swear I'll make a change, but for now I just can't help it. Only trusting God in these scars that I've been dealt with. I'ma do my job, time to grind, time to know. They know, 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 they know. Pedal to the metal, they know. Gone and I won't let up, they know. I'm not so I'm fed up, they know. Say it for the record, they know. They know, they know, they know. Yeah, they know. Pedal to the metal, they know. I'm not so I'm fed up, they know. Why you never sign? You sign when you go live. Stuck inside that bubble, never ever go outside. You don't know you know computers, you're a tech guy. Back against a wall, you gon' fall or you gon' ride. I feel the pressure, foot to the pedal. My dogs, they fed up, my squad won't let up. Those sneakers CDG, hot on step on. My money yoga, the weight is stretch on. I change locations to change the weather. Know when that rain come, got my umbrella. And when my day come, my name gon' stay up. Yeah, I know, I know, I know. Pedal to the metal, they know. Gone and I won't let up, they know. I'm not so I'm fed up, they know. Say it for the record, they know. They know, they know, they know. Yeah, they know. Pedal to the metal, they know. I'm not so I'm fed up, they know.
In the morning, you got me up, all cause you need to talk. So 4 in the evening, wanna break up, say that you've had enough. I'm tired of talking, again and again, argue about everything. You are my darling, this kiss and make up, I know you wanna touch. You call me every night, call me every day, I just wanna get you alone now. Trust me when I say